Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya. Now, Vishnu Bhagavatam Bhavarajagacharya, also those CC AC, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prams Gaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Govida Shama Kunda Radha Kudda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Jamuna Tulasi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Go Premanandi All glories to the Son of the devotees, all glories to the Son of the devotees, all glories to the Son of the devotees, all glories to Sri Guru, Sri Guranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravani Prachadane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 10 chapter 85 verse 40 Darshanam Vamhi Bhutanam Dushprapam Chapya Durlabham Rajastama Svabhavanam Yatna Prapto Yadrichaya. Darshanam, a vision, avam, of you too, he, indeed, Bhutanam, for living beings, Dusprapam, rarely achieved, Cha api, yet still adurlabham, not difficult to obtain. Raja, in passion, tama, and ignorance, svabhavanam, for those whose natures, yat, in that, na, bias, prapto, obtained, yadritshaya, causelessly. Translation: seeing you, lords, is a rare achievement for most living beings, but even persons like us, situated in the modes of passion and ignorance, can easily see you when you reveal yourself by your own sweet will. Purport: by ascribing to himself the degraded status of a demoniac birth, Bali Maharaj denied any spiritual qualification for being visited by Krishna and Balaram. What to speak of demons like himself, Bali thought. Even advanced renunciates in the path of Jnana and Yoga fail to please the Lord when they do not give up their pride and envy. Many who have been constantly absorbed in enmity towards you ultimately became attached to you, who are the direct embodiment of transcendental goodness and whose divine form comprises the revealed scriptures. These reformed demons include Daityas, Danavas, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Pisachas, Bhutas, Pramathas, and Nayakas, and also ourselves and many others like us. Some of us have become attracted to you because of exceptional hatred, while others have been attached because of their mood of devotion based on lust. But the demigods and others infatuated by material goodness feel no such attraction for you. Purport: Srila Jiva Goswami explains this passage as follows. The Gandharvas, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, and Charanas are adversaries of the Supreme Lord when they follow the lead of the Daityas and Danava demons. The Yakshas, Rakshasas, Pisachas, and so on tend to be inimical because they are generally covered by ignorance. There are some rascals in the pure mode of ignorance, like Shishupal and Paundraka, who are totally absorbed in meditation on the Lord as their enemy, and this fixed consciousness earned them liberation. Others, in a mixed condition of passion and ignorance, associate with the Lord with a desire for position and prestige. Maharaj Bali sees himself as belonging to this category. Yet Lord Vishnu favored Bali by becoming his doorkeeper in the subterranean region of Sutala, just as he favored the demons by killing and liberating them, and the Gandharvas by engaging them in singing his glories. On the other hand, the Lord awards sense gratification to those demigods who are proud of their being situated in the mode of goodness. Thus they become deluded and forget him. So this is Bali Maharaj and Sutala Loka praising Krishna and Balaram as the Supreme Lord. And Krishna and Balaram have come to get the sons of Devaki who were previously killed by Kamsa. So he notes their very compassionate attitude in this verse by showing how he delivers all sorts of people, even if they are in the lower modes of nature. And in fact, more than even the Devatas, he gives mercy to the demons and Danavas and Gandharvas, etc. Of course, we can understand this in a certain way. We shouldn't take it literally that the Lord shows more favor to demons than he does to devotees, etc., because we also know that as one surrenders unto the Lord correspondingly surrenders. So the more devotion you have, the more the Lord is attracted and gives mercy. So the demons don't have any surrender, so why would the Lord give them great mercy? So the Lord shows mercy to everyone, but he gives particular mercy to devotees. To the others, he also gives mercy, but not because they've surrendered at all, simply because it's his nature. And the result of that mercy also is different than the result that the devotee gets. Not included as devotees, so they don't get the highest result, but they get some result. The good quality of some of them is that due to their intense hatred of the Lord, then they concentrate on the Lord. Otherwise, they don't have any good quality, but because they think of the Lord in hatred, that thinking of the Lord itself becomes beneficial for them. So that is their good quality. It's not their good quality, it's the quality of Krishna. Huh? And another point is that Krishna especially is singled out because he is most attractive. And therefore, that hatred is combined with the attractive features of Krishna. And therefore, they always think of Krishna in hatred because he's attractive. This is not so with Vishnu or Nrsimha or Rama, etc. They don't concentrate on him. And therefore, they don't get the same result. But with Krishna, demons like Shishupala or others, they concentrate on Krishna and then they get liberation because of that intense concentration. We see that Hiranyakasipu saw Nrsimhadev, but he did not get liberation. And Rama did not get liberation, even though he saw Ramchandra. But then Shishupala, when he saw Krishna, then he got liberation. Why? Because he concentrated on Krishna with great absorption. And why was that? Because Krishna is all attractive. In other words, Krishna has more attractive qualities than Nrsimhadev or Ramchandra. And therefore, the greater concentration, and therefore the greater result. With Krishna gave a greater result. This, of course, was not bhakti. It was simply Krishna's nature as such that they ended up concentrating on him in hatred. So the good aspect is they were able to concentrate on him, but actually it's not their good quality. It's Krishna's good quality that he's all attractive that makes them do that. But anyway, that absorption in Krishna is the good part of their behavior. So if that absorption in Krishna is there in a devotee, then that becomes very wonderful. The result is very wonderful. And in different verses in the Bhagavatam, it is also stated that, yes, people can approach you in different ways by fear or hatred, or also with affection or relationship or in kama, etc. So that verse is there to show that the two aspects there are actually Raganuga Bhakti, that is kama and sambandha. Kama refers to the Madhurya Rasa of the gopis, and sambandha refers to the other relationships in Vrindavan, such as Vatsalya and Sakya and Dasa in Vrindavan. So that is also very much guided by absorption in the Lord. They're attracted to the Lord's pastimes and features, so they become absorbed in the Lord in Raganuga Bhakti. And of course, in the people in the spiritual world, the inhabitants of the spiritual world, the Vrajavasis are considered the highest because they're always absorbed in Krishna in a very intense way. So those are the Ragatmaka Bhaktas. So the Raganuga Bhaktas follow after them in the material world with intensity of absorption. So the good aspect of the others that are mentioned, like fear and hatred, is absorption. That's all. But the absorption takes place actually in the devotees of Vrindavan. Here again we find mention of the different species, like Gandharvas and Siddhas and Rakshasas and Pisachas. They can all get some benefit from Supreme Lord. So some of them get impersonal liberation, some of the demons, which the devotees don't want anyway. This is not considered very beneficial for the devotees. They don't strive for that. So the devotees don't feel bad if the Lord gives these demons liberation at all. Some of them attain Sarupya or Salokya. So they go to the spiritual world, like Shishupala. That's better than impersonal liberation. But still, that is not as wonderful as the position that those who do pure bhakti get. So the people who do pure bhakti get a very intense relationship with Krishna. those who do this are enemies of the Lord, like Putana, etc. They get liberation and they go to the spiritual world, also get a spiritual body. The relationship with the Lord is a little indirect, not direct. So Putana became a nurse in the spiritual world because she gave a show of Vatsalya Rasa to Krishna when trying to feed him milk, which was actually poison. So she got a relationship as a nurse in the spiritual world ultimately, but she does not get an intense relationship like the elders of Vrindavan. Yes, demons get results, and they may even get liberation or salokya or whatever, but not the same as what the devotees get. So we should never think it's Krishna's unequal or unjust, that he favors the bad people, not the good people. So actually he favors the devotees over everybody else. And whatever they get is his great mercy. And he mentions here how the devatas are not so favored. That, of course, does not include all devatas, because we see that sometimes the devatas are favored also by the Lord. But it indicates that the Lord is not interested so much in gunas. And anybody in any guna he can show favor to, even if they're not devotees. If they are devotees again, then he doesn't have any prejudice against devotees who have sattvic qualities, as opposed to some devotees who still have tamasic qualities. He doesn't disregard those devotees also. So those in the mode of sattva are not necessarily deprived of the Lord's mercy also. We see the Lord himself appears on Svargaloka as Vamanadev. And in the upper planetary systems, he is there on Brahmaloka as the Mahapurusha, the form of Vishnu, etc. So he manifests himself for the devotees there as well. But this verse here is to indicate how the Lord will even manifest mercy to the most fallen persons in Tamagun and Rajagun in different ways. But again, we have to take this in proper perspective and understand that they do not get the same mercy as people who have devotion. So we have among the demons, then we have devotees like Bali Maharaj. He was a great devotee, Avannavedana. So he was born in Daitya family, but he became a great devotee. We have Prahlad. He also says, I'm a big demon in a demon family, but actually was a great devotee. So in the family of the Daityas and Danavas, sometimes we get great devotees of the Lord. So those devotees, of course, get very high result. And the Lord does not discriminate against them and say that, oh, they were from a Daitya family, therefore they can't go to Vaikuntha, etc. No. Because they're devotees, the Lord disregards any background or birth or whatever. So, from this we can also understand that the Lord's mercy is spread throughout all sorts of living entities in the material world, not just the human beings on earth, but we get all the inhabitants of the lower planetary systems, including Sutala Loka here we see. And it spreads all the way to Brahmaloka. The Lord is merciful to everybody. And all these different beings mentioned here in lower gunas, even they get the mercy of the Lord. So not only human beings, devatas can get mercy, rakshasas can get mercy, whatever category one is born in, one can get mercy. And even if one doesn't have devotion, as is these cases here, still the Lord gives mercy. But if these persons who are in the lower modes happen to become devotees, then of course the Lord gives great mercy to them, as we see in the case of Prahlad and Bali Maharaj. They got great mercy because of they were devotees of the Lord. So the Lord can spreads His mercy everywhere in the universe to all species of life, and He also spreads His mercy to to all sorts of devotees who may appear in any category, whether they're Gandharvas or whatever. So the process of bhakti is available to everyone. And if we are not devotees, even then the Lord is merciful to all species. But if one is a devotee, then one can be a devotee in any of these different species, from topmost Brahma down to lower planetary systems. If one becomes a devotee of the Lord, then one is successful. So, process of bhakti is available to everybody within the universe at all times. So it spreads everywhere within the universe and to all planetary systems at all times. So this shows the glory of devotional service, or bhakti, available to everyone at all times. This actually is mentioned in the Chatusloki. This process of bhakti is available at all times, in all places, sarvatra and sarvada. So this is unlike other processes which are not available to everybody. So Jnana Yoga is not available to everybody. Only to those persons qualified with fixed sattva gun, they can practice Jnana Yoga. Or Astanga Yoga. And most of these people mentioned here are not participants in the Varnashram system, so they can't do Karma Yoga either. The Daityas actually want to destroy the whole system. So they're not qualified even for Varnashram, any of these species that are mentioned here. They're all lower species of life. So nevertheless, though they cannot participate in Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Astanga Yoga, they can all participate in Bhakti Yoga. So that is the glory of devotional service. And the mercy is such that even if they don't take to devotional service, still they can get the blessings of the Lord somehow or other, or the blessings of the devotees, and gradually they can advance beyond that status and become develop faith, etc. So there's a possibility for anybody in all these different species to take up the process of devotional service if they get faith. But of course the faith depends upon getting mercy of devotees. When they get that mercy, then they can get the faith. When they get the faith, then they can start. So fortunately, the devotees are merciful to everybody. So they spread their mercy throughout all the different species of life and whatever. We see Narada Muni going everywhere preaching. So all these persons are capable of getting mercy of the Lord in some form. Sometimes we see that Narada Muni curses people, but ultimately they get mercy because of that. So he cursed the two sons of Kuvera, then they became the two trees, the Yamala Arjuna trees, then they got the mercy of Krishna. They got association with Krishna eventually because of that. So they're in the Devata category actually, but then they were fallen because they were proud of their wealth. But Narada Muni gave them blessings and they got the highest position. Therefore this glorification that Bali is giving is quite appropriate. And it's appropriate in his case because he actually came from the demon family. He became a devotee, but was actually from the demon family of Hiranyakasipu. It's a very bad family, big demons. But obviously he wasn't a demon. He started out like a demon, and then he became a great devotee. So he can still considers himself very fallen, and therefore he praises the Lord in this way by describing how the Lord is merciful even to these fallen species, which include himself. Why? Why weren't they eligible for liberation by the words?
Because it was said by Vishnu itself that for 3 births they have to take. So they are not actually eligible for liberation. They cannot get liberation by the Lord's words itself. Whereas Shishupala was the third birth of Jay Vijay. So he was eligible for that.
Yeah, that is the case of Jai and Vijay getting cursed and falling into the material world. So that's a particular example. However, it's not that every day of Brahma, Jai and Vijay fall out of the spiritual world. On normal cases, there's just a big demon there who takes 3 births and then becomes Shishupala and then gets out. So in that case, we're implying that they weren't qualified with devotion and it had nothing to do with any curse.
Maharaj, we see normally devotees only shower the mercy of the Lord, and it goes to the even demons, like Prahlad Maharaj got through Narad Muni. But in case of Bali Maharaj, we didn't see any of his spiritual master. His spiritual master was against, not favorable. Still, he became a devotee. How?
Well, we can say because he came after Prahlad. So he got the influence, the mercy of being born in Prahlad's dynasty, same family, so therefore he got mercy that way. Of course, we can't say that everybody after that got mercy, but he particularly got mercy. So, your future generations will all be blessed, or whatever like that. Eh? So, born in the same family as Prahlad, I suppose he gets Prahlad's blessings or whatever.
Second thing, Maharaj, normally Gandharvas are devotees of the Lord and they are singing the glories of the Lord, but still they have been categorized in the demons categorized here.
Yeah. So we see sometimes they're rather in passion, a mode of passion. Though they're singers, but they're also often associated with demoniac species, etc. We see in the Mahabharata that they have a rather passionate tendency. I think one of the Gandharvas killed killed somebody, one of the persons there. He got angry and he just killed him like that. So they tend to be a little bit passionate in general. They're not on the level of sattva like the devatas, a little bit less category.
Usually normal thing is that somebody born in a devotee family, he should become a devotee. But we see even in some of the alvas, they are not born in devotee, but they become very high devotees. You see Haridas Thakur or many devotees. Yeah. Usually my question is, why is that in spite of all the opportunities, advantages in a Brahmin family or a devotee family, the child doesn't become a devotee?
Why don't the Brahmins become devotees?
Yeah, I've seen most of the Brahmins, they go to hotels, drink alcohol nowadays.
Well, of course, Lord Chaitanya's associates, many were Brahmins, so we see that. He came from Brahmin family, Advaita Acharya came from Brahmin family, others, I don't know, Nityananda, but others, Srivas Pandit, I think, came from Brahmin family. Many were Brahminical. Of course, he also had other persons as well. We have persons from the Kayasta community, persons from Vaishya community, and people beyond caste also, but many were from Brahminical families. So it's not that Brahmins can't become, but then we also have some negative aspects of the Brahmins. Many are smartas, so they become very proud of their lineage and whatever, and they're following different rules and regulations, etc. So difficult for them to change once they get into a certain mode. And many of those Brahmins become Mayavadis because they think they're qualified for, Jnana and Vedanta, so they become attracted to Mayavad philosophy. Of course, that's natural because if they're in Sattva Gun, they are attracted to Atma, but then they get into Mayavad philosophy also. So there's some distractions in Sattva as well. So obviously there's good qualities because they have more sense control, they're more detached from everything. But then there's some negative qualities also, that they can become proud of their position, etc. As the Brahmins who were doing sacrifice, and then Krishna asked for food, and then they didn't want to give any food to Krishna. So they were Brahmanas, but they were proud of their position, etc. So sometimes they may have that pride which prevents them from becoming devotees. So bhakti is such that, and the mercy of devotees is such that it spreads everywhere, and the devotees don't deprive the brahmanas of mercy also. They also give mercy there, but they give mercy to everyone Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that because the question is asked, one person comes and asks, well, how is it that Lord Chaitanya's devotees, many come from fallen castes, and that's from Brahmana. It's not completely true, but many do. So, of course, the answer he gives is, it's not that all fall, because we see that the Vaishnavas, so many Vaishnavas are there, and all the acharyas in the past came from Brahmins families, like Madhvacharya and Ramanujacharya, all from Brahmin families. They weren't low-class people at all. And they attracted also very high-class people. But then he gives the reason why many low persons are attracted is because people who are higher up tend to get proud, and those who are lower are suffering, in a suffering position, but also they tend to be more humble. So humility is a good quality for practicing bhakti, so therefore they get attracted to bhakti, and they're qualified for bhakti because of that humility that is there. So that's one reason why Lord Chaitanya attracted many people from lower castes as well.
Shrutinam Shimatam Gehe. One is born in a Brahmin family, a rich family, or aristocratic family because of his previous pious and good activities. That means the Brahmin families, they should become devotees.
Well, that's piety. But better than that is being born in a devotee family. That's better. So the other ones are part of punya. And being born in a devotee family is the part where because of devotion.
The question arises that why Lord always takes avatar in Kshatriya families? Most of the avatars.
Why?
Well,
one of his functions is to restore dharma. So the Kshatriyas, that's his occupation, to implement the dharma, etc. So therefore, it's convenient for the Lord to do so. But then we find others like Vyasadeva. He just wrote scriptures, so it didn't require him to do anything like that. So he's a sage. Or Kapila again is a sage. So different. He's a brahmachari. So not always there in Kshatriya family, but often because dharma has to be restored. Therefore, they take that role. Being of higher and lower planets may not have human form. How are they related with the Lord? Well, higher planets, we do have human forms in higher and lower planets. For instance, Sutala is a lower planet, but there we have human-like species. So Bali's there, and he's ruling over the demoniac people in Sutala Loka. So we'll find Patala Loka, of course, we have Yamaraj himself, who is human-like. He's a Devata, actually, but he's in Patala Loka, at the very bottom. And there's also people down there who are human-like. So we'll have human-like species everywhere. Of course, maybe the only ones are the Nagas or something that down there in one of the lower planetary systems, the snake people. But otherwise, a lot of them are human in form. And in higher planetary systems, generally human-like. The only place they're not so human-like is where we get the pisachas and the mutas and those persons of slightly different. They're also not human-like, or that's in the Bhuvarloka sphere. But they're kind of classed in the human-like species because intelligence is higher. They're not an animal species, they're not in plant species, so then they're considered human-like. Human, yeah. They're all concluded in human species. It doesn't mention the Devatas as separate there and whatever. They're all human-like species. No. If you concentrate very strongly on the Pitras, then you can go to the Pitras. Most people they worship the Pitras just to so the Pitras will give the Shraddha offerings to their departed person, and they get relieved of their distress in a hellish planet or in a hellish body. So that's the main worship that they're doing there. But if you're really devoted to the Pitras themselves on Pitraloka, and then you can go to Pitraloka. It's like a heavenly planet, and they have heavenly-like bodies. But generally, the Pitras refer just to your ancestor. They may be anywhere in the material world, and we do offerings to them so that they can get a better body or relieved of their hellish existence. To Gaia? That is, he's just carrying out regular activity as a brahmana. Yeah. You can do it and not being attached to it, because we understand that devotion is a higher principle than worshipping pitras. And if we offer Vishnu Prasad to the ancestors, better than worshipping pitras to give them the offerings or whatever like that. But we can do it just to follow the custom and set an example for people who are of lesser consciousness and whatever.
Material education, and they teach the children that species are from botany and zoology. They give different species name, phylum, subspecies. But we don't see they give him that 4 lakh fish of form in our Shastra.
Yeah.
We don't have the names for it. Maybe
Yeah, there's not, even we don't know what all
What
the
are
species
species?
are, according to just
The
to give a
Shastra?
general number like that. So we could say these are general categories which can be subdivided and subdivided. Pseudonam depends on consciousness or concentration. Well, both. We have to be conscious to do anything. And then we have to concentrate. But we also need knowledge. Because if we don't know what bhakti is, and we don't know what pure bhakti is, and we don't know who Krishna is, then even if we concentrate, but we're thinking the name is some material thing, then we don't get the result. So you also depend on knowledge. An offensive person, can he utter namabhas or pseudonam? No. An offense, if he is offensive, he's doing namaparad. Because he doesn't believe in the Lord, he doesn't believe in the devotees, he has a hatred of the Lord, so then he can never chant pseudonam. Of course, an aparadi can become a devotee, and then he can chant pseudonam if he reforms, but when he's an offender, then he cannot. He has to change himself, and the same with namabhas. In a sense, namaparad is like namabhas, it's just an extreme form where there's hatred involved and rejection of the Lord. Nambhas is neutral. And we don't know about the Lord, but we don't hate the Lord. And offensive is they hate the Lord. So that's the difference. They're considered to be Jai and Vijay. They came a 4th time to participate in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. Yeah, extra, we can say, because of Lord Chaitanya.
ग्रंथराज श्री श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय।